content creators will not be the ones who are actually getting in front of the camera and shooting themselves. The content creators will be the ones who come up with the best idea, just type it in, and the content is already ready. So I think in 3 to 5 years from today, you will be binging on AI generated content.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Test, Optimize, and Scale. We're going to be having an AI discussion today. Topic of the year, right? Well, we're sitting here with Anupreet Singh, Chief Revenue Officer of Gan.ai, that allows for customizations of video to then be customized, personalized for thousands of different audience members, if not more. Anupreet, I've been looking forward to today's discussion. Thanks for taking the time to join.
Thank you for having me, Jason.
It's a pleasure. And I'm fascinated by your background. You've lived the dream, if you will, of many entrepreneurs with what you've been able to build, what you've been able to exit, how you've been able to focus on projects that you find to be the most meaningful in the world, into today's work ecosystem. Can we start with your background and familiarize listeners more with who you are and what you've been able to accomplish before starting Gan.ai?
Absolutely. I'm a 2014 graduate from Delhi, India. Been in Delhi all my life. I am a computer engineer by education. Started my career as a coder. Coded for a couple of years. Realized that I can never be the best coder, on the planet. So might as well try doing something else. And so, I really was enjoying sales for a little bit of entrepreneurial thing that I had in, my college days. And I realized that, I was building a product and realized that I like selling it more than I like coding it. And so I thought, like, why don't I actually try a sales job, and never look back from that day onwards. Landed myself in a sales job at a company called Mettl, Mettl. And this company was into online assessments, right from psychometric assessments to coding assessments, aptitude assessments, and then a blank canvas where you can upload your own assessments as well, much like what a higher education would need during COVID, for example. And everyone from HRs to higher education institutes were using us. I ended up landing in their, India to US, sales team, and that's because I was the youngest member of the team back in the day. I was probably 24. And India business is doing really well. They wanted to have someone experimental in the India to US kind of, selling strategy. And that became like, a great launch pad for me. I built that whole engine grounds up to meaningful revenue. And eventually Mettl got acquired by Mercer for, maybe closer to 100 million or something. I wouldn't know the exact amount, but that was a pretty fancy exit for Mettl and Mercer. And then, I spent some time with Mercer. I spent some time in their San Francisco office. And that's when I realized I enjoy selling for startups more than, large enterprises. And I like, fast transactions more than, large $1 million contracts. And so moved back to the startup ecosystem. And that's when I realized, that cliche statement of data is oil, as something that was extremely, looked very promising to me, and turned out to be pretty promising as well. So entered the data business, joined this company called Slintel as the head of revenue, and Slintel was building a Zoom Info alternative, with technographics being the forefront of the differentiation, which means that you could actually tell your competitors' customers, you could tell customers of your integration partners, which is just a click of a button. So it was a superpower that I was very fascinated by, and I thought if you add that to a Zoom Info like contact database, then it could potentially become like the next big thing. And it actually ended up doing that. So built about we reached about $5 million in about 2.5, 3 years that I spent with Slintel, and literally went from $0 to $5 million in about 2.5, 3 years. This is from 2019 to 2021, during the peak COVID, years. So literally in the first wave of COVID, we did from $0 to $1 million. The second wave of COVID, we did $1 to $5 million, and eventually got a very very fascinating exit with 6 cents. So it was very good cash plus stock kind of exit, which was meaningful for all the early employees, for the founders, for the investors, for all the employees for that matter. And Six Sense, is a beautiful company to work for. One of the fastest growing ABM company actually, which potentially should be going IPO sometime soon. Looking at the pace at which they're growing and the scale at which they're growing, so it was meaningful, outcome for everyone. So took that with both hands. Spent 1 year with Six Sense. Got kind of that urge to join a startup again, and this time, had the option to either build something of my own or partner with someone who's kind of cracked the tech aspect of it. Generative AI was not as sexy about 1.5 years back as it is now. But I kind of realized that I want to be there, and could sense that this could potentially be like the next big thing. And so, I was investing in Subrat's, idea of building Gan. First started talking to him as an angel investor, and Sequoia made that introduction. I knew, partners and analysts at Sequoia who were investing in Gan.ai back in the day, who made this introduction to help me be an advisor, an angel at Gan. But once Subrat and I started talking, we realized that this is exactly what I want to do, and then took about 6 months of back and forth between Subrat and the investors, but eventually I agreed to join the ship and convert it into a rocket ship, and that's exactly what we've been doing with. I'll talk to you more about GAN as we progress, but that's been my journey, in the last 8, 9 years or so.
Amazing. Building these companies from the ground up, being responsible for the revenue, hundreds of millions of dollars more. What attracted you to Gan.ai? What did you see in the works that was familiar from other organizations that scaled up? True scale ups, that you were able to recognize there, and what is promising about the technology today and where it's going?
So I think, when I join early stage founders, I join the founder more than anyone else. I join the founder more than the product. I join the founder more than the investors, the early team, etc. I think what matters the most to me is the person who's building it. So when I met, Subrat, he came across as a tech prodigy with like so much knowledge about generative AI, maybe more than anyone else in the country. And he's basically excelled in everything that he's touched so far. So he was probably rank one at Georgia Tech. He was researching at Stanford before Facebook came to Stanford, and kind of got him working with them, actually researching with them at the Facebook AI Research Labs. So has been like extremely successful with his academics, and then further, his role at Facebook is interned at the social security equivalent of India called UIDAI. Basically, India recently produced a social security number equivalent called Aadhaar, and he was basically interning there. So worked on very, very interesting projects, and always came across came out as as a successful candidate at that. So was very impressed by what he's achieved, and when I spoke to him and I saw the passion with which he was building GAN, and the reasons why he was building GAN, like someone like Subrat could easily just make $500K to $1 million a year, just working anywhere. Being like at the forefront of generative AI and the kind of credentials that he has. His reasons for building GAN and how passionate he was something that connected with me. And and it was a big decision for me as well to leave Six Sense, because Six Sense was the best place to just continue for the next 3-4 years at least, and witness an IPO. I've never witnessed an IPO in my life, so it was a great opportunity for me to just witness an IPO by staying at Six Sense. But then so Subrat gave me that big reason to kind of give up on my dream of actually building something from the very scratch, like having my own startup, and then also leaving what I have in front of me. This is an opportunity to go IPO. And I saw it in him, and I saw that, and one of one of our investors, said this to me, and it remained that, this guy's definitely becoming a billionaire, and we have zero doubts on that. So we just want to be in like his close circle as we watch him become a billionaire. So I was very convinced on that statement, because sometimes once in a lifetime you meet someone and you're so sure that he's becoming a billionaire. No matter how he becomes one, that's going to be a separate conversation. But he's meant to be a billionaire. If he doesn't become a billionaire, then there are very few other people, that in your circle that could become that, right? So He's that kind of a guy when I met him. And then second, reason was the fact that I connected very well with the problem that he was solving for, which was basically, I like to call it mail merge for videos. That's the kind of term that I think I like to explain it with. So, mail merge, when it was launched first, kind of solved this very critical problem of being able to send personalized emails at scale. So before that, if you literally have to send, a personalized email to, 1,000 people, you literally have to type that email 1,000 times again and again, or just copy paste and then, just replace that name again and then send again. We solved it on top of videos. So, there was someone who solved it long back for text. We solved it for videos and realized that video is becoming the next communication channel. And whenever, as it becomes that, people would need a mail merge on top of this as well. Because why not? As you send more videos, you don't want to re-record yourself. In fact, it's a bigger problem with videos than text because you still use copy paste and text, but you don't want to re-record yourself a million times if you want to reach out to a million people with their first names replaced every single time. And realize that problem is real and big, very very big, problem to solve across industries, across functions. Could be a tool for HR, it could be a tool for realtor, it could be a tool for people like you, it could be a tool for a brand that has Tom Cruise as a brand ambassador and have Tom Cruise send personalized messages to all of their consumers, So it could be like used in so many different ways. And so I was like, this is an interesting problem to solve and keep at it for a very long time and keep exploring different markets and different use cases that we can solve with it. So here we are building it now.
And I want to talk more about those use cases. Let's give the audience a better idea, better perspective of what you do. I'm a big fan of video. We're on a video podcast right now, but I use it as much as I can. If I'm sending a birthday message to a friend, I make a video for them. It feels more personal. It's beyond just Facebook post, hey, happy birthday, Facebook automated this, or a text message, hope you're having a great day, or trying to expand it to something more personal. I can spend a minute making it and have a 45-second, minute-long video that stands out. People say, hey, this is the best birthday message of the day, thank you. And I try to add more depth, but at the same time, there's some similarities to it. And I'm replacing name, replacing some things personal to them. And that's what gets me so optimistic about your technology, where it's going, and beyond other AI products, beyond other AI creative products, because you can build a video and have it fill in the blanks for name, company name, geolocation. I imagine a whole list of different variables well beyond that as well to create that sensation of, hey, this person went out of their way to film a video for me versus just sending a message on LinkedIn, over email, or any platform, or wherever it is. And this is great. It feels like they're talking to me. This is awesome. Am I getting that right? What is the standout for you of the technology, and what type of use cases can you see it shining in? I want to ask more about the future as well too, but just to get the audience up to speed on what you're doing today, am I covering some of the main points?
You are, and I think what's important to understand is that we just need to figure out what are the use cases where you really want to stand out and make sure that the message is getting delivered, being clicked, and being watched, and the information is getting absorbed by the person that you're sending it. What is that message that is extremely important? Uh, and you just replace that text message with a video in your buyer's journey. So I'll explain what I'm trying to say. Today, if you check your inbox, you might be getting 100 new emails that have only text in it, and just one in a month maybe that have a video in it. So you're competing, against 100 times 30 versus one, text to video kind of ratios that we're talking about today. So it's still like not even scratch the tip of the, not even scratch the surface, not even at the tip of the iceberg when it comes to consumption of videos. And so videos have a much better click-through rate and response rate. So, like with all of your prospects sending you all of your potential customers, being reached out by text messages. If you send out one personalized message, a video message to your prospect, the chances of them clicking on it and watching it becomes a lot higher. And not that, when you talk about use cases, think of it as a B2C brand. Every brand is trying to reach out to us when there's an abandoned cart. They would send us an email, a text email saying, "Hey, that shampoo is sitting in your cart. Hey, that those sunglasses are sitting in your cart. Why don't you check out?" You can actually replace that with a video of the founder coming out and saying, "Hey, Anupreet, the sunglasses, that you have in your cart, here's 10% discount that I personally wanted to give you, so that you can just complete that checkout right now." That would actually, be a lot more impactful than that generic email that is coming out from your inbox. So, and we're seeing response, we're seeing the uplifts, right? So every single campaign that we do, I personally ensure that we're doing case studies around it. And most of the case studies that we're doing are giving us about 3 to 5x improvement in click-through rates and 3 to 5x improvement in the video completion rate when compared to a text campaign in the first case and when compared to a generic video in the second case. Which means if you send a generic video saying, "Hey, friend," the video completion rate would only be for 9% of the people. So 9% of the people will watch it till completion. And you start your video by saying, "Hey, Anupreet," the video will be watched till completion 46% of the times, which essentially means that people like to hear their name and they feel that this message is for me when the video starts with their name. And it can be used by brands, it can be used by salespeople, it can be used by HRs and CEOs to greet every single employee that is joining your company. Every single time you want to just say kudos to someone in your company who's done a great job, you can have the manager or the CEO send a personalized video saying, "Hey, Anupreet, your manager Surat told me that you're doing a great job. And he absolutely wanted me to tell you more about how important you are to this organization, et cetera, et cetera." So, you can actually have a very warm message being sent out. And, even if, let's say, there's a 50% audience, or if not more, maybe at least 50% audience that knows this is an AI generated video, and, the CEO is not literally sitting there all day recording videos and sending it out to employees. It still feels warm that the CEO actually took the pain to record that one original message and had the intentions to call me by my first name and sending this video out, and used an AI tool to replace it versus just sending me a generic email, or just sending me a video that you once recorded 2 years back, etc. And never cared to change that video to call me by my first name. And the last part to this, which really impacts the conversion rate, is the fact that if you go back to your school days and someone calls you by your name, or your teacher just calls you by your name while you're attending a class, you just suddenly would draw attention towards that particular classroom, or would just pay more attention in the classroom when the teacher calls you by your name in the middle of a classroom. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. So on an average, a consumer is being thrown about 500 to 2,000 advertisements in a day, right? From all the billboards that you're watching, to Instagram ads, to TikTok ads, to YouTube ads, etc., etc. You're being thrown around 1,000 ads a day. There's no ad that is calling you, "Hey, Jason." Suddenly, you have so much more attention to say, and so the conversions improve automatically.
I was going to ask if people knew whether it was real or not. And as you mentioned, even if it's the CEO speaking to them from a major brand, it's still neat. It almost makes you scratch your head to wonder, did they do this? What's going on here? Obviously, if it's a sales rep, it can be very, very organic, feel very authentic. But I was going to ask about that. What about a celebrity or an influencer? Can they be used in these videos and have that type of personalized touch, that feel to this marketing, to this messaging?
Absolutely. I think with the right permissions between the brand and the celebrity, this is very common actually in India. So if you look at India, we've worked with all the A-listers in India that you can think of. I think there's no celebrity more than 100 million followers in India that we have not worked with, which means that all A-listers are covered. In fact, we're probably working with 5 out of the top 10 influencers in India through different brands. Probably with some of these celebrities, we've already done 4 or 5 different campaigns across brands, because every brand has them as a brand ambassador. So it's very common. It's very impactful. If you're spending $1 million on a celebrity, might as well make sure that I, as a consumer, know that he's your brand ambassador. We did a quick survey and we realized that for the biggest celebrity in India, his name is Virat Kohli. He's ex-captain of the Indian cricket team right now, the highest, I think, most successful cricketer. I think one of the most successful cricketers in the history of cricket in India, and the most liked cricketer and the most liked celebrity today. He has about 250 million followers on Instagram, and he probably would be having hundreds of brands that he has worked with. On an average, like not even 40% people could tell, like even six brands that he endorses in the survey that we did. So we realized that, like people don't care if you have like an A-lister as a brand ambassador anymore, unless you get the A-lister to actually call them by their first name. Because that's what is, I think, now becoming table stake more than novelty. Just like any other technology, it started with novelty, where the first time someone did it in India with the A-lister, it was like, wow, how is this even happening? But in India, especially, it is now starting to reach a phase where people would just not give you enough attention if you don't call them by their first name in a personalized video. Which means that it's now shaping up as how you would respond to an email that comes to you from an SDR that says, "Hi, customer," instead of "Hi, Jason." You would be like, "Hey, you could have used any tool to just simply change this, text email from here, "Hi, customer" to "Hi, Jason." Why are you not doing that? A large portion of Indian consumers have already started to come to expect that their brand does that. If you're signing up a brand ambassador, otherwise you don't have my attention. So to actually get attention earlier, this is how marketing has evolved when it comes to celebrity, usage in campaigns. There was a time when using an A-lister was enough to grab everyone's attention. Because you have an A-lister as your brand ambassador, great. Everyone wants to know more about your brand. Now, many can afford that A-lister, and has been that attention is being spread across a lot of people. And so the next thing that people need is, what are you doing with this A-lister for me? And that's what matters to me. And when I say me, I don't mean just the consumer. Imagine a retailer having his or her name, the retail shop's name being called out by the celebrity. So now you're no longer promoting just the brand. So this is what Samsung did with us. Instead of saying rush to your nearest store, Samsung said rush to AB Enterprises. So AB Enterprises is a small brick and mortar store where Samsung phones are available, along with other brands as well. But no other brand ever cared to get an A-lister endorsed for their store. Samsung actually said, rush to AB Enterprises. If I'm watching the ad near AB Enterprises through geo-targeting on YouTube, I would see the ad which would say, rush to AB Enterprises. It would not say rush to nearest store. Because what is the nearest store? Like all this while, like we never questioned why are brands using nearest store. I literally have to go find my nearest store to buy this product, which is insane in 2023. Just tell me where I need to go and buy. But it was not possible to do that because you can't really call out every single store names in United States or in India. But today you can.
Amazing. And what about longer form content? So beyond just a single message, can it be used in advertising? Can it be used in, a half-hour webinar, or let's go more business to consumer, a film, a TV episode? Can you have 30 minutes, a couple hours of footage, of content with variables every sentence to 2 sentences? So max, maybe far less than that, but so it feels personalized to me. Here in Marina Del Rey, and I golf and snowboard on the weekends, and like checking out new restaurants around town. And these are my favorite movies. And this is the weather I'm living in today. Here's the score for the sports teams I follow. Can I have a personalized conversation, a personalized show, a personalized movie made for me ultimately with this technology?
Absolutely. So if we partner with Netflix, you could have like every single movie have one character that is called Jason when you're watching it, and Anupreet when I'm watching it. Every time that character is being addressed, everyone in the movie would address that person as Jason when you're watching the movie, and Anupreet when I'm watching the movie. That would just keep me more engaged. That would just keep me more hooked to the movie. And that's what is possible today. Now, let me just talk about, Bobby, this is a good segue to talk about what's also going to be possible very soon. So we already have started doing whole sentence replacements, or for that matter, whole paragraph generation for our customers, which means that, especially when it comes to an audio note, you just need to give us a few minutes of your voice training data, and then we can learn your style of speaking, your voice, and then reproduce that to generate whole text to speech messages, much like how, let's say, Alexa or Google operates, but in a lot more authentic way, and a way that resonates with you and is easily recognizable by your friends that, hey, this looks like Jason's voice. This looks like something that Jason has recorded. Which means that, let's say, you want to have a chatbot like interaction with audio messages replaced, audio messages being exchanged between you and your audience, where audience can ask you questions. Answer is being, let's say, generated by ChatGPT, and the answer is then being given in your voice to the customer, for them to feel like you're actually giving them true answers. It could be done even today, which means that you just need to plug ChatGPT to generate those text prompts, by doing the right kind of prompt engineering, and then take those text prompts, generated into whole audio messages of 30 seconds, 1 minute, and our tech can actually, speak that out loud in your voice and your style of speaking. Now take that to the next level. This is already done by us for Cadbury, where we literally mimic a rapper to generate rap songs from the scratch to for your friends. So you've mentioned birthday. It's very cool to actually record a personalized video for your friends on birthday. I would never ask you to use AI for that. Continue to do it in a manual way, because you have only a bunch of friends. But in future, just imagine if you could actually, and there's not even future, we're already doing that in India, which means that you can just come in on a particular form, mention some details about your friend, that this is what he likes, this is what he dislikes, this is where we met, this is what I absolutely love about him, this is something that annoys me about him, etc., etc. And then a fun rap will be first written by ChatGPT using those prompts, and then will be sung by our AI in a rap style of a rap artist. And all of this has been done with AI, end to end. So from generating the rap lyrics to singing that rap and then overlaying music on top of it, it's all done through AI, and we've already reached there. So now, what could be possible in the future is you take it, you add lip sync on top of it, or you add, let's say, this avatar technology that is already popular out there, where you can create a clone for yourself and then have that clone speak. Not a big fan of avatars in the use cases that we operate in. So I would actually love if humans in blood and flesh could actually have this whole audio message being said in their lip sync fashion, the whole paragraphs, where you are sitting like this, and we just change entirely what you said, and we lip sync the whole sentence. That's what I feel will be a comfortable future that I would want to see in the next few quarters. But then if that happens, which it means that you could have one character in a movie which is completely AI to begin with, just one character. And what that character is doing in the entire movie is custom for you versus me. So it's probably acting, it's having different dialogues based on the kind of movies that you like versus the kind of movies that I like. And maybe in 5 years, there could be an entire movie that is being created for your eyes. And I've never seen that movie. And there's no way you can dislike that movie, because that whole movie has been created based on all the movies that you've liked in the past. And it's having the exact same ending that you would like the movie to have. It does have the exact same kind of climax that you like the movies to have. And it's very different for me. I like, let's say, comedy, you like thrillers, and we want something entirely different, entirely generated through AI, and all the characters are AI, and script has been written by AI and all that. And this is basically what Hollywood is kind of also concerned about, and those conversations are already happening. But it wouldn't stop at script writing if AI is let loose. I think AI is capable. I'm just talking about capability. From a capability standpoint, I think AI can just generate the whole movie in a few years.
Where's this all going? Where's it going to be in 5 years, 10 years? I hear the number 2037 referenced a lot in AI conversations. What about 2050? I hear that reference for other initiatives. What will the B2B landscape look like? Will it just be AI talking to AI, signing up on a form, having an AI to AI discovery call? Because it makes sense. If I had a form filled out, let's say 5 to 10 fields, learning about the prospect, learning about the potential partner, I can have a whole customized conversation for them. Again, insert weather in your city, insert score from last night's baseball game. I hope no one's mentioned the Dodger game from last night. They lost here after this recording, but being able to then talk about the details of the industry, their product. I mean, in some ways, it could be better than human performance, especially on an off day, or when the mood, when the levels aren't quite there. Will it be that for the discovery call and for the proposal and proposal review call and sign up kickoff? Are there more possibilities for AI than actually having individuals in these parts of the sequence at a certain point in the future? Where is this technology going for B2B or for what we do, business to investor? So a founder speaking to an investor. Many of our campaigns require thousands of investors at smaller amounts to substantiate millions in funding, but builds this whole crowd as part of the process. How do you envision the B2B AI landscape in 10 to 20 years?
I think it would be as big as the industrial revolution. And the reason why I compare it to the industrial revolution is because, before the industrial revolution, every single thing that you see around yourself was created with hands. Just imagine there wouldn't be, the headphones that we're using and the mic that we're using if, it wasn't for the industrial revolution. And so, like when it first came, people were scared that hey, now machines will be able to manufacture these products, and you wouldn't need humans to build and cast all of these things that were otherwise being done by humans, with chisel and hammers, etc. But when it actually happened, you realize that humans got so many more job opportunities, and you just have to upskill and reskill yourself to be able to do things that really require human intelligence versus artificial intelligence. So that was basically the first kind of artificial intelligence where machinery learned how humans are making this product, and then machinery started to build those products for humans, and then humans could do better tasks like thinking about that next big product that you need to build for the consumers that will now start having these kind of problems, etc., etc. And so we have what we have today as a luxury of using so many products that are literally made in seconds. Probably an iPhone would take less than like a minute to manufacture completely, and it does so many things for you, right? If it wasn't for the industrial revolution, all of this wouldn't have been possible. I think this revolution with generative AI, especially, is probably as big as that revolution. And we'll see. We don't know what we don't know, what will be uncovered. But what I know for sure is that repetitive tasks will no longer be done by humans. Anything that a machine can be trained on will be done by a machine. Let me give you an example of that in the B2B world, because you asked me about that. I think the repetitive task of an SDR, for example, to begin with, will be completely replaced by artificial intelligence. So a sales rep today is spending so much time to do research on which account to reach out to, and after that, crafting a very personalized email and then sending that email out, then responding to that email based on what the customer has asked for, finding the right collateral, attaching that, sending it out, trying to get a meeting. At least all the way until meeting setting can be automated if the AI is trained the right way with the right kind of data sets, which I'm sure a lot of companies are already working on. We are working on a very small aspect of it, which is videos. So, if you just club what everyone else might be building, someone is, training their AI on crafting great emails. Someone is training their AI on writing great responses. So understanding what the email is and then, finding a response for it. Someone is really using AI to find the right collateral to attach based on what is being discussed. So solving for, the content library aspect of it. But, once all of this is done, I think it can be done in a far more efficient way than how it's being done today, and AI will tackle that. It will take a little longer for $1 million, $5 million transaction to be done completely by AI relatively, because there's so many nuances that come in those conversations that you really need a human to intervene and see from a buyer perspective, do I really need it? And from a consumer perspective, from a seller perspective, having nuances of probably going and meeting in person, building relationships, sure. Doing what you can from a sales skills standpoint to get this deal. And then, again, from a legal standpoint, a lot of stuff around, easy yeses and easy nos that right now take maybe one or two iterations from legal teams to say yes or no to will probably be automated through AI. But then you really have that last signature on a contract that's probably $5 million will potentially still require some lawyer to wet it once, and then it probably goes out. So a lot of repetitive tasks are coming, are going to be like extinct from human task lists very soon. And I'm excited about it more than worried. I'm a seller myself, but I'm excited about it because that just frees up so much time for these sellers to do something else, which is a lot more, impactful and requires a lot more of your human skills to be applied to. So I think it's just a matter of time when we figure out what next as it comes to each of these jobs. And it probably will be a lot more meaningful, just like the industrial revolution probably did to the mankind.
Of course.
And I think one other thing from the future that I kind of just want to touch upon is,
please,
just from an example of TikTok. Today, if I have to draw a parallel of TikTok to, let's say, this art, right? There was a time when an artist wanted to paint something, he would first build a canvas, because if you really want to paint, there's no canvas available in the market. So, about 100, 200 years back, you have to first start by building a canvas. And then you would find the right brushes, or maybe, create your own brush and then create your own paint and then start painting. And so the final output would be, to achieve the final output, you need to be a great person. You need to be great at like building that canvas. You need to be great at, carving out that paintbrush, making those paints, etc. And then finally you get to see the output of that painting. Cut to today, you can just paint on iPad and still have like beautiful paintings being painted out of iPad. And a lot of things can be just done with cut, copy, paste on your iPad, and you can get like a beautiful, painting out of it. Which basically means that what Painter is actually doing is the creativity which is in the mind. Everything else is so operational that it wouldn't matter if these things were taken care of by machines. So from canvases being available to the market in the market to now you being able to paint on iPad, I think the future is that you just think of it, type it out, and that's what a lot of products like Midjourney are already doing. Right. The final output just comes in front of you because you were the first one to think about it. You win that copyright on that particular painting that is in front of you because you were the one who typed it right, and you thought about it, and that painting looks beautiful, and now you can sell it for $1 million. If it's worth that. Same with TikTok, and will be applied very soon, where content creators will not be the ones who are actually getting in front of the camera and shooting themselves. The content creators will be the ones who come up with the best idea, just type it in, and the content is already ready. So I think in 3 to 5 years from today, you will be binging on AI generated content on TikTok or Instagram or another platform that takes over Instagram and TikTok, and no longer on real content that has been generated by humans. You wouldn't need humans to be able to be coming in front of the cameras and acting, funny or stuff like that. You can just type it in, and that funny video will be created and would be floating around on your TikToks and Instagram, and probably will be getting more likes and comments than a video that is actually, shot with cameras and humans.
And I like how your technology, your ideas, your predictions are all based on humans and giving us more scale, more abilities, removing the repetition, personalizing across millions of messages, and really using our time towards the most important actions, and therefore giving us far more capabilities. It's funny determining what is repetitive. Can there be rebuttals and different things scripted, identifying language down the line in the future? But like you said, being able to come up with a thought and then it's created and then distributed and you're selling the artwork, being able to have the lead generation process going and then showing up for the key meeting in person and knowing everything's already connected and in sync. It's going to be a far more efficient world here in the future. And not only amazed by what you guys are creating, and as I mentioned, it's a standout in terms of AI, and very easy to use. The context is very clear to founders, the B2B community, even the business marketers, and how this could be used in communications. I'm even picturing it being used in politics and having your leaders speaking to you directly. But in terms
we have
of
two political parties using us in India, just putting it out there. We already have two political parties.
That's crazy. We don't have anything like that. that I know of
Yeah.
for the US. But I imagine first be used for fundraising for donors.
Yeah.
Picture
Yeah.
key events, even very
Yeah.
urgent type situations, and having that personalized discussion and recommendations that are specific to your area. But in terms of
Yeah.
building this out, you guys have been very successful at it. You've shown this type of track record atop, among your projects. What recommendations would you have for founders in terms of what they could test out towards their own growth? This could use your technology directly. This could be more of an entrepreneurial recommendation. What would you recommend for listeners to test out towards their own growth?
I think two ways to look at it. One, if you're looking to use Gan, for example, in your own outreach, I think you should probably start with the most simple prospecting use case and automate, a lot of your prospecting efforts to the use of Gan and the tools like Gan. Like like I gave you the example, the sales reps, mundane tasks and repetitive tasks can be done using AI already. And so you should start thinking about that. You could be your first sales rep as an entrepreneur who's starting out and automate a lot of that and get more meetings, through the door fairly quickly with pretty neat personalized videos, personalized emails that you can send out using AI without investing so much time. And if you're actually trying to build something in the generative AI space, truly try to solve a problem that you think is large enough and is something that is very close to your heart, and you have enough experience in that space to say that it's actually something that will change with a lot of conviction. In the future, don't just convert your existing SaaS product into a generative AI product. I see a lot of founders trying to do that because that's where valuations are. But I think that's the wrong way to kind of build. If you have a true SaaS product that can really impact, see if you can use existing models in that case to better your product and amp up your product's product roadmap by just integrating some of the APIs that are available. Developer platforms are very common when it comes to generative AI. It's very expensive and very difficult to build a generative AI team in house, and so use some of these models to solve for the real problem that you were solving as a SaaS solution. Don't try to become a generative AI company just because the valuations are bumping up there. But if you are building a generative AI company from the scratch, just like I said, solve for a problem that you truly know will be revolutionized by generative AI in the future, and you could potentially be the person who's actually revolutionizing it today. And I think try finding some smart generative AI engineers. That's, I think, the most difficult aspect as an entrepreneur if you're starting out and trying to build a generative AI company. I think there are only so many generative AI engineers out there, so try finding the right set of people for yourself, and yeah, wish all the luck to all the entrepreneurs that are getting there.
And what about optimization? What do you do if it's not working, if it's not hitting the full goal? If you are trying to create your, artificial generative, intelligence, if you are trying to just use the AI and, be able to send messages to cold prospects, send messages to people in the marketing funnel, uh, and results are not there. How can you manage it to a point of effectiveness? You've been able to pivot in your projects over the years. How would you recommend for founders, marketers, VCs, perhaps for their portfolio companies, to be able to have those shifts to get it to the next level?
Uh, One thing that has really worked out for me, and I've tried to take those values everywhere I went, is that your product roadmap should be 100% influenced by your customers after you hit a product market fit. Which means that for your product market fit, obviously as entrepreneurs, you're trying to figure out what the right set of solution is. But then once you've figured that out, you should stop using your own brains and let your customers dictate your product roadmap from that point onwards, which means that your customers will tell you what's working and what's not working. You just need to listen carefully. And if you see there's a pattern there, and most of your customers don't need, what you're focusing on for the next 3 months and need something else instead, prioritize that. And when I say customers, I mean customers and not prospects. There'll be a lot of prospects that are not investing in your product in the early days, but they have like aspirational goals to achieve with your product. A lot of times you would start working on that because there's a large customer that just, prospect that just came in and, it's something, let's say someone as big as Amazon, and you think that customer could eventually become $1 million customer for me, and you just try building something for just that Amazon. And then you realize that in that process, you're building something that none of the existing 25 customers need. And then Amazon eventually also did not come. And so you wasted 3 months worth of, bandwidth on on the wrong, feature. So I highly recommend listening to the existing customers and building for them. Once you have the PMF in place, unless you find the PMF be agile and flexible and open to change, which means that, for example, what's working for us in India, which is consumer brands and the brand ambassadors, using us for, their campaigns, sending we work with Pepsi, Coke, Swiggy, Zomato, which are, DoorDash equivalents of India. And then we work with Unilever, Samsung, Vivo. So basically, like every single, consumer brand across categories is working with us in India. But that same market did not respond very well to this product in US. But what we realized that in US, B2B companies like these SaaS companies, these micro entrepreneurs, etc., are so many that we can potentially just find peace with building a Vidyard on steroids, for example, where instead of recording one video at a time with Vidyard, you can just record one video and then just scale it up to 1,000 people, because there's so many people that are using Vidyard and are recording themselves 20 times a day to send the exact same message to 20 different people. And that is the problem that we want to go after in the US, because the consumer brands kind of said this is too early for me. I need to wait and watch how Hollywood strikes respond and how celebrities respond, and I want to take my sweet time to get celebrities to be using your platform. And we're like, great, we'll find another place where we could probably start selling in US. So we did pivot our market in US very quickly, and then that market is literally doubling every quarter for us. We're literally doubling our revenue every quarter in US as well as we grow in India. So in India, SaaS market is not as big as US. So in India, we're working on consumer brands, and in US, we're working with SaaS companies, real estate, healthcare, etc., which is a very different market from what we are selling to in India. So I think be agile and be open to change and be fast when you make those pivots and see if that's working out. And if it is, once you find that PMF, listen to your customers and let them dictate your product roadmap.
And once you find that, how do you scale? How do you take it to the next level? How do you take on enough market share that you become attractive as an acquisition for one of the top holding companies in the world? How do you just continue to grow and not go the mergers and acquisition route and be able to take on a much larger percentage of the addressable target markets? What are the access points to scale?
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of aggression when it comes to spend marketing dollars and spend really kicks in. I think you need to be in every single PR every single week or month once you've really achieved that scale. You need to be sure that you are everyone is hearing your name multiple times. So whenever they're trying to solve this problem, the first brand that comes top of mind is yours. Focus on branding, focus on events, focus on PR. Focus on hiring the right set of team to let go of all the power that you've been keeping with yourself as founders, and let them operate. Build processes that are scalable and let them run the show for you. And you just now think about what is next for the company, as this product is now scalable to an extent that people can do it without having to come to you at all. And so you have this is the right time to hire a VP of sales, hire a VP of marketing, hire a VP of product. Offload this particular GTM to this team, give them all of your secret sauce, and just tell them to just 10x this for you over the next few years as you try to find that next product that will eventually become as big as this, and then just keep growing horizontally and vertically. You worry about the horizontal growth as founders, and these VPs of product, sales, marketing for each of these vertical products that you've kind of found PMFs and found, let's say, a couple of $1 million of revenue or maybe $5 million of revenue. Let them run the 5 to 50 journey for you, or the 5 to 500 journey for you, depending on how big that TAM is. And you find out the next vertical where you can potentially find another $1 billion, and then do that again, that rigor of taking it to that $2 billion somehow, finding out what that exact secret sauce for it is. Iterate till the time you're not satisfied with the fact that this is what customers need, and then just have new set of VPs running the show for this particular product for you. I mean, this is how I think I would like to build a company that can potentially go IPO and beyond, where you have a lot of vertical products that are each, capable of becoming unicorns separately.
Well, I can see why you say AI can't fully replace human, and learning more about how your gears are working with each different vertical and how things are growing from there. It's going to be exciting to watch Gan.ai and watch your growth. And again, with your track record, with my understanding of the technology and all the use cases, have no doubt that's going to continue growing there. Anupreet, this is beyond interesting. I've taken, page and a half of notes on my own here. Going to be sharing this with the whole team. Going to be sharing this with our audiences, of course. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. As we begin to wrap up, what are some final thoughts that you want to leave listeners with? And what's the best way for them to get in contact with you, with Gan.ai, to learn more?
My one piece of advice for everyone who's watching would be, identify the difference between risk and fear, which basically means that a lot of times you don't take that decision because you think it's risky, while it's just your fear that is holding you back to take that decision. I could potentially just be a coder all my life, and a mediocre one at that. If I didn't take that, risk in my career, and I did that because I realized it's actually not that risky. It's just my fear that is holding me back from making that switch. And everyone, I believe, gets that one opportunity in their lifetime that could define, the course of the rest of their lives. And at that point, just evaluate, very closely whether it's risk or whether it's fear that is stopping you from, taking that step. And if it's just fear, probably try and overcome that and do that regardless. If it's actually very risky and you don't want to take that risk, it's totally fine. But just take a moment to evaluate whether it's actually risk or it's just your fear stopping you from doing that. I'm available. I'm more than active on LinkedIn. So if you want to reach out to me, I think Jason should be able to share my LinkedIn profile. You can search me up by Anupreet Singh. And if you want to know more about Gan, just go to Gan.ai, GAN.ai. That's our website, and just book a meeting. Most likely I'll see you when you book a meeting with us as well. And if you mention to your sales rep that you are coming from this podcast, I will make sure I come to that meeting and say hi to you there. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really like having this conversation with you, Jason.
Of course, and highly recommend listeners to take Anupreet up on that. Reach out on LinkedIn, learn more about Gan.ai. Don't let fear shape your decisions, and try it out. Look for use cases for yourself. I don't say that about every guest by any means, but this is the future. You could be at the forefront. Anupreet, thank you again. Really appreciate the time for hopping on the podcast, speaking to listeners about your journey, what you guys are doing in AI today, and where things are going.
Thanks for having me, Jason. I had a wonderful time. Thank you.
My pleasure. I want to thank all listeners, viewers as well. We will see you next time.